Donald Rumsfeld said that the idea that this was a war for oil was a myth, that it was nonsense. Do you have any response to that?
One of the few times that Donald Rumsfeld lied to us. It's such a shocker. The war, of course, was always about oil. That's been explicit from the start. But one of the things that was not explicit was exactly how they would win it. What does it mean to fight a war for oil? How do you get the oil? The method that they chose was a tool, which was to change Iraq's laws so that Iraq's laws would shift from a nationalized oil system that was essentially closed to U.S. oil corporations except for marketing contracts to an essentially privatized oil system, almost completely open to U.S. corporations, not just to sign contracts, but to gain control of Iraqi oil, a full 2/3 of Iraq's oil for a generation or more. The Bush administration and U.S. oil companies engineered the law. They began working on it well before the war. They first pushed it with their appointed interim prime minister, appointed by the Bush administration, Ayad Alawi, a former CIA operative who became prime minister of Iraq. He is the first person to propose the new law. They've spent 4 years trying to get it passed, 4 years of occupation, 4 years of engineering a government. It's now passed the Iraqi parliament, cabinet and set to go before the parliament. If it passes the parliament, then Iraq's oil system is radically transformed. It will look like no other oil system in the Middle East, essentially almost no other oil system in the world, because of the type of control it will give to foreign corporations. That, of course, will be for them the winning of the war. U.S. troops, of course, are being used to push this agenda. Of course, once the law is passed, it has to be implemented. So U.S. soldiers, I fear, will be used as the implementing force as well, making sure that U.S. oil companies can get to work. So that's why we're bumping up to 160,000 troops. That's why the Bush administration sees no end in sight, potentially 10 years they're already talking about for the continuation of the war. That's obviously to gain control of the oil. So we're here locked to barrels that say stop the Iraqi oil theft law, to show our solidarity for Iraqis who have called for Americans and British in particular, because it's our oil companies, to stand up and say we won't accept a war for oil. We won't accept our corporations pushing this law on the Iraqis, and we'll stand in solidarity with their opposition to this law.